showtime.
It's showtime. And here we go.
Welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T., and this is my Fantastic Four review. And it is the number one movie in America and the world. And, I had a lot of reservations about Fantastic Four, and I definitely was proven wrong. And I will get into all that and what is in the future for Marvel. They were not at Hall C this year for San Diego Comic-Con. I believe they're going to wait until next year to come back. So right now Marvel is, like I said, gotten back on track. It is definitely on the right speed. There's just a lot of things up in the air with Marvel. Again, they've gone away from the quantity to the quality, and this year has proven, or at least the last three movies have proven, that they are getting back to what the first two phases and mostly the third phase was. A lot of storytelling, a lot of details. So, again, Fantastic Four had been done a couple of different times by Fox, and they didn't work out very well. One did get a sequel. That one was the Chris Evans Human Torch one, with also with the Silver Surfer, with Lawrence Fishburne. And then after that they said we're going to reboot it again, and Michael B. Jordan this time was the Human Torch. Kate Mara was the Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Jessica Alba was the original Sue Storm. So I didn't have a lot of expectations going in, and even if this movie wasn't as good as the previous two, Thunderbolts and Captain America, we still know what we're getting down the road, which is Doomsday. So Fantastic Four is set in a different multiverse. So it starts the end of the multiverse trilogy. So this is phase 6. It starts as phase 6. Now there isn't a lot known about what is in phase 6 the rest of the way. They've been moving projects around, and Kevin Feige has talked about they are already setting up the next 3 phases. So we weren't entirely sure what we were going to get after phase 6 was over, when Secret Wars is done with. But now we have a clearer vision, and we're going to get to all that at the end of this episode. So let's start right away. I thought the cast was really good. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. You had Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. Vanessa Kirby was Sue Storm. You had Ebon Moss Baccarat as Ben Grimm, and I thought he was actually probably the better Ben than in the previous ones. You had Julie Gardner play the Silver Surfer, named Shalabah. And I know there was a lot of talk and dislike for her portrayal of the Silver Surfer. Look, I didn't have an issue with it. She did a really good job with it. She was, for all intents and purposes, there to help Galactus find places to devour. And speaking of Galactus, Ralph Ineson played him, or voiced him. I thought they did Galactus well, and that was one of the things I was worried about. Is we've seen big baddies before, and they look weak or they're not written well, you know. But then again, that was with Fox for the most part when they did X-Men with Apocalypse. Oscar Isaacs is a good actor. Apocalypse was not well written and not well done by Fox. They didn't probably understand what his character was like. I remember him from comics and from the cartoon, and I loved his character. So when it was a big disappointment to me, it is what it is. Fox luckily has given away their Marvel people, so that's they're coming out of the void. So, but I thought they did Galactus pretty well. Natasha Lyonne was in this movie. She plays Rachel. This is kind of a love interest for Ben in this film. I thought so. I had to think about this because I wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan. They were talking about these underground underminers, and it harkened back to The Incredibles for me. I was like, wait a minute, are we stealing a thing from The Incredibles? But Paul Walter Hauser, who played the leader, Harvey, of the Underminers, and it was like I said, it was kind of bizarre. I'm like, weren't they in the Incredibles? But I guess it fits for this this movie. And again, I don't know all about them, so I took it for what it was. But he played a pretty good part, and he was only in it for a short period of time. So then, we get into the story. So Sue and Reed find out that they are pregnant, and he is worried about if the baby's going to have superpowers, and he's trying very desperately to find out. Because they were all hit by the rays. Now, in this film, it was alluded to that they had already come back changed. So that's when we meet Human Torch and the Thing. So we don't actually see it in this one, but we are assumed it already happened, and then they kind of a flashback to their suiting up in their mission, and then they're taking off, and then we don't see anything. So, as you saw in the cartoon, they come down for dinner. Johnny says you're late, and they all are like, oh, it's got, and then Ben goes, you're pregnant, right? And then she was like, oh, how did you know? And he goes, look at your husband's dumb look on his face. And then there's some corny jokes in there along the way. So, again, Reed's mission was to find out if Franklin, as they named the baby, was going to grow up normal, or with the cosmic rays that changed them, would he be a super being? Well, that super being part, Galactus was looking for. So the Surfer finds Earth, marks it for destruction. Fantastic Four then come up with an idea to go to Galactus and try to bargain with him for whatever they can, or try to destroy him, one of the other. So again, I'm going to leave a lot of stuff out, but I mean, I'm just getting to the crux of the film. So you've got these four, kind of superhumans and whatnot, and they go head out into the unknown, and they come across a planet that is radiating some kind of, cosmic rays and whatnot. And as they approach the planet, something is devouring the planet from inside, and then we see Galactus's big ship. They get dragged into the tractor beam and are pulled aboard, and the Surfer welcomes them in. And it's funny because, they're like, Johnny, your girlfriend's back. And Johnny had a little bit of a connection with her, or thought he had a connection, when she was leaving the planet to go back to Galactus, where he was hanging on the surfboard. So again, that's in the trailer or TV spots. And she whispers something to him, and it resonates in his head. And throughout, he's trying to figure that out. Meanwhile, they've been getting what was considered SOSs, or some kind of contact from beyond. They couldn't translate it, so they were going through it. But Johnny was trying to figure it out as well, because he tried to understand what she said to him in her language. So when he finally meets Surfer again inside Galactus' ship, he asks her about it, and there's a quick flashback to her home planet, where Galactus had shown up and was going to destroy her planet unless she, meaning Shalabal, was going to serve the Surfer. As the Surfer. So Galactus would spare her planet. So she has a lot of deep kind of regrets about it, because she knows what Galactus is about. And again, she kind of has a little bit of feeling for the four of them, especially Johnny. And so they finally meet Galactus, and Galactus is enormous. They are talking, and he's like, your world is next, and so on. I am the devourer. And Reed says, well, how can we work this out? How can we make this right for you? And he says, I will take your son, and I will leave your planet alone. And they were like, no, we're not doing that. And he's like, well, I will take the child either way. I will destroy your world after I have the child. So at that point, they need to get out of there, because Galactus is getting angry and gets off of his throne, and they wind up escaping. The Surfer tries to chase them down, and this is where it kind of gets a little crazy for me. Obviously, being a father of two and knowing what seeing childbirth, this one is kind of weird to me, because they are doing almost 9 mocks at this point, because they are trying to get away from the Surfer and trying to get back to Earth, because they're going to run out of fuel. They wind up getting close to a black hole, and it sucks the Surfer in, and they kind of break free of that. But meanwhile, Sue is about to have a baby. So now we are in zero gravity inside inside the rocket, and they're trying to pull 9Gs at this point to try to get around, slingshot around this planet. And she has her baby right then and there. And I was like, golly, I gotta ask Ashley how she would feel about that. Trying to do childbirth in zero gravity doing 9Gs. Like, it was kind of a crazy thing. I don't know if that was in the comics or anything, or if that was just added for, I don't know. Like, you couldn't have waited till we got to Earth, and done it the normal way. So anyway, again, that's kind of a crazy one, a crazy scene. They get back. Reed does an interview. The people all think that they have stopped Galactus. He tells them they have not. Galactus wants to destroy us, and we are going to come up with a plan. He said we tried to bargain for him, and this is also in the commercials or the trailer. He says that he was bargaining with us, or trying to bargain with us, and the reporters are like, well, what did he ask for? And Reed says he wanted our son. This triggers humans at this point, all of them, to say that they are selfish and we are all going to die because you guys don't want to help us. And so Sue eventually goes outside with the baby while there's mass protest, and she kind of resonates with the people. She gives an empowered speech that they are going to try and do their very best to destroy Galactus and stop him from destroying the Earth. But they needed everyone's help. Every human being that was on the planet needed to help. So, while that's going on, they're devising their plan. Reed comes up with, let's try to move the planet out of the solar system and place it somewhere else in a universe somewhere far away. And so it's the only plan that they can come up with, because he's got a transporter, a little mini transporter, where he was able to move an egg from one side of the room to the other. So he comes up with, well, let's try to move the Earth to somewhere else. So they start building these large transporter rings, and as Galactus' ship gets closer, they activate the beams and are ready to jump the Earth to another spot. But as they're doing it, and as the world is starting to come into this cocoon type thing, the surfer arrives and starts taking out most of the transporters. So now they cannot jump. Now they are stuck. She gets back to where they are, and Johnny pleads with her to help destroy Galactus, or at least help us figure out how to stop Galactus. And she kind of has a moment, and she disappears. So we don't know if she's going to help or not. That is when Galactus arrives onto the planet, and they devise an idea to, at first, they have one transporter, so they know that in their Times Square kind of thing, and they know if they can get Galactus in there, they can transport him somewhere else into the universe, and that is the plan. So they put Franklin in the middle of this. But as Galactus is looking for Franklin, he notices that the barrier things are up. So he is very cautious about it. then he's kind of distracted for a quick bit by Johnny, and they swap the baby carrier out, and they take the baby carrier back to their headquarters. Galactus notices after he's not distracted anymore, and now heads toward their tower because he knows the baby's in there, because he has this X-ray vision type thing. So now they've got to try to stop him, and then there's this whole series of trying to fight him. I thought this was a really cool scene. Reed tries to get up on top of him, and he starts Galactus starts stretching him out like putty, and you can see on his reaction he's starting to smile and enjoy it as he just literally almost just rips him in half, but he's kind of enjoying it the whole time. But then Ben and Johnny show up, and Reed is saved for the moment, but Galactus was able to kind of thwart them off and grab Franklin. So now Franklin is in the hands of Galactus, and he is going to walk off the planet and destroy it. But he is stopped by Sue in this force field, and it is killing her. You should never piss off a mother, because she used every bit of energy to stop Galactus, and at one point all of her anger and all of her energy pushes Galactus further toward that transporter. So they start to rev up the transporter. They devise a way to get up in and around Galactus long enough to get him to open his hand where Franklin is. Reed is able to take Franklin out, and with everything else she's got left, she force fields Galactus into the portal, and he is vanquished into, we don't know, but he is gone. The Earth is saved. Sue is now lying on the ground, dead. She used every ounce of her being. Again, don't piss off the mother. They have some real fight to them, if you know what I mean. So Reed tries to give her mouth to mouth, get her heart to restart. Doesn't work. The baby starts crying. So Franklin is then placed on her chest, and he puts his hands down on her shoulders right here, and lo and behold, she's awake. She's awakened. So she survives. That pretty much sealed it for Reed, knowing full well now what his son could be capable of, because he didn't want to hear it from Galactus, who sensed it, who knew it. That's why Galactus wanted Franklin. So Reed was very shocked, because again, he was trying so hard all movie long to make sure that he was either going to be normal, or if he had superpowers, he wanted to know what they were, just in case things like this were to happen. So, and it kind of ends that life, where they're all, one happy family, and we move on. And then, right before they ended it all, there was another event happening, and it cuts away. So, again, I wasn't the biggest Fantastic Four fan for this. I still am not the biggest fan of Fantastic Four, but for this version of Fantastic Four, I say bravo. Like, it was well done. It was thought out really well. There was a lot of dialogue in it, not a lot of action, which is fine, because again, we're setting up Doomsday in December of next year. So I would give it definitely a definite thumbs up, almost 2 thumbs. And again, there was some stretches of it that were a little out there. Again, the whole giving birth in space kind of thing threw me off. The Underminer storyline, I think there might have been another. There was a bunch of things they had stopped, and it was like, okay, kind of corny, but I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a quality movie. So again, I think this was definitely the best of the Fantastic Four movies. That may not be saying much to you. Again, wasn't the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but I will say that it was good. And Marvel, again, is doing everything right now. That's all I can say. So, now, I know this got spoilers in it, but one thing that I never kind of understand is post-credit scenes that get leaked right away after literally the first showing on an opening Thursday. It's almost like they already have an advanced copy, or they're, I don't know, pirating them somehow. But the post-credit scene, mid-post-credit scene, is 5 years later. Franklin is now 5. Sue is reading him a story. It is done. She goes, I'm going to read you another story. She asks the robot to grab a book, and she's like, no, I've already finished that one. I'll grab him this one. And then she starts to sense something, and she gets her force field ready. She comes around the corner, and Franklin is touching the face of Doom. We do not know which variant of Doom he is holding, because all we see is Doom with the green hoodie on, but his mask is in his hand. So is it somebody that he knows? Like, I don't want to say like knows, but like somehow knows. Like, obviously he's 5 years old, so he's not going to be knowing every being, but because he has those superpowers, does he have a connection, more or less, to Doom, or did Doom find him? Which was Reed's biggest concern, was would he have powers that would draw attention? So there is that. So, how does this tie in with Thunderbolts? We have no idea, because all we saw was the ship coming to this universe. We don't know if that was Doom in it. We don't know if it was Fantastic Four getting away from Doom. So there's a lot of unsolved question marks there. And then the final credit scene, which I didn't know, so I kind of stayed till the end. All they did was replay the theme and the old cartoon Fantastic Four. That's it. It was kind of like it was just, homage to the cartoon. Okay. Has no bearing on on the movie or what's coming. But at least the mid-credit scene did. So at least we're pointed in the direction of Doomsday. But how it ties into Thunderbolts remains a mystery. Remains a mystery. So that is my review of Fantastic Four. If you've seen it, comment down below if you liked it. If you agree with me, don't agree with me, whatever, just comment. Because I would love to know what you thought of the movie. So again, I thought it was good for what Marvel is doing. Marvel is ready to get into Doom, and Feige has talked about what is to come. The key components to the rest of Phase 6 is going to be Spider-Man, the new one, Brand New Day, which comes out in July of next year. Then obviously Doomsday, and then Secret Wars. But there will be some things in between, and let's get to that really quickly. So obviously we had Ironheart come out right before Fantastic Four, okay, and that ties in with Black Panther. There is an animated series, Eyes of Wakanda, which comes out August 6th of this year. Will it have any bearing on what is to come for Doomsday? Don't know. Marvel Zombies animated series, October of 2025. We know that has nothing to do with the multiverse saga, so that will be a standalone. And I think that was something that fans loved from the What If series, and they definitely wanted to exploit that. Wonder Man is December. I don't know so much about this. I'm going to have to read up a little bit more on this. Wonder Man, will it have any effects on Doomsday? Who knows? And then there's this long break in between where we'll have obviously Spider-Man Brand New Day, July 31st, and then obviously Doomsday, December 18th. So again, there's not a lot known though if there's going to be something in between. Like right now, for instance, the Punisher and Vision series are all slated for 2026. However, where they fit or where they're coming out is still a mystery. So, are they going to have any links to it? Now, I would assume Vision would, because this is the White Vision. In the comics, he's a very strong version, stronger version of Vision. So I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to work this series. And the Punisher is going to be in Spider-Man, so I would assume it will come out after Spider-Man, or maybe even before. That is still a question. And then obviously Secret War, December 17th of 2027. So again, there's so much in between that is unknown at this point. So Feige has also talked about some projects that they are working on. Now, whether they're going to fit in here in 2026 to 27, we're not sure. But Armor Wars is one of the projects that they are working on. He did update us on Blade. They're still working out the kinks on this thing. This thing has been going on since 2021. They've been talking about Blade. So we're now literally 4 years and it's still in production or trying to get off the ground. Yeah. it is what it is, I guess. Shang-Chi 2. Again, not sure if he'll be a part, I think, of Secret Wars. I don't think he's part of Doomsday, from what I've gathered, but you never know. Right now, again, it's in the works. Black Panther 3, as we know, is in the works because Denzel, I think this is his final movie, will be working with Ryan Coogler on that. So, what does that mean for the rest of this? So, there is some conjecture as to what is going to start Phase 7. Phase 7, 8, and 9 sounds like this grouping is going to be the mutant era. So clearly X-Men probably is going to start Phase 7. And also after the end of Phase 6, there will be a soft reboot. So there are going to be all new Avenger teams, all new people playing Avengers or other, Marvel entities. So there's so much good coming down the line, and I can't wait. And again, I wish there were more concrete, kind of things like when they did, Phase 3, Phase 4, Phase 5, they had things called, all kind of in a bunch. But I think Feige's trying to keep this as close to the best as possible, because maybe he doesn't want to give too much away, as the DCU is trying to reform, doesn't want to give James Gunn any, added material, like, I'm going to do this, so maybe, I'm going to do this, to counteract. So maybe this is a good thing, and maybe it's not a good thing, who knows. But we know that the big 3 films still to come will be Spider-Man next July, and then the next 2 Decembers, 26th and 27, is Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah, I'm loving the MCU even more now. We got through 4 and 5. We got through the we're almost through the multiverse saga, which was somewhat of a dud until now. I mean, the movies were bad for the most part. The series, TV shows, very good. I think all the shows have been really good. So that is it for this episode. I've got a lot of episodes coming up. Obviously, the weekend report is coming up. I'm not sure if I want to do a single Happy Gilmore one, or wait till Naked Gun and maybe put those two together. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Also, right now, as it may stand, August 13th, it seems like the day that the 100th episode is to come out. If you guys have any suggestions as to what I should do, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm still debating on what to do with this episode, so if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to use them. Also, check out the shorts, check out the Comic-Con ones, because right before the 100th episode, I will be going to Terrificon to meet Haley Atwell and some other guests there, which I had mentioned in that, so you may want to go back through it. Also, the shorts. I'm trying to get shots out there to see if anyone will come on to the podcast. So go like, comment, subscribe, share it, tag tag the celebrities that I put out there. Do whatever you can to help out this podcast. I would really appreciate it. That being said, folks, I'll see you all at the movie.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.